Today I will be teaching a K through 1 lesson plan involving the 3 states of matter, which are solid, liquid, and gas. The students will learn about the 3 forms of matter, solids, liquids, and gas. Good morning, children. Matter is present everywhere in this world. You may ask, what is matter? Well, matter is anything that takes up space. For example, you and I are made up of matter. Animals are made up of matter. Many other things in this classroom are made of matter. Matter comes in 3 forms: solids, liquids, and gases. The 3 forms can be grouped by their shape. The first form we will discuss are solids. Solids have their own shape. Solids can be different textures, colors, and sizes. Some examples of solids around you are me, you, your desk, your chair, and the smartboard. Does anybody want to guess what else in this room could be a solid? More examples could be clothes, crayons, posters, toys, and etc. Next, we will discuss the group of liquids. Liquids can also be recognized according to their shape, but liquids do not have their own shape. It takes the shape of the container it is poured in. Liquids are flowing, can vary in color, and in thickness. Does anyone have any clue of an example of a liquid? Yes. Other liquids are juice, pop, gasoline, vegetable oil, milk, and etc. Gases are the last state of matter we will discuss. Like water and liquids, gases do not have their own shape. Gas will take the shape of its container but will flow freely without one. Gas cannot always be seen, but is all around us. An example of gas is the air we're breathing right now, which is oxygen. There are many different types of gases in the world today. So now that we have talked about all 3 states of matter, we will take a closer look at each one and discuss whether or not it is a solid, a liquid, or a gas. First, we will start with grouping solids. Remember that the defining attributes of solids are that it has its own shape and comes in various sizes, colors, and shapes. Let's start with the water fountain in the left-hand corner. Kids, is this fountain a solid, a liquid, or a gas? Why do you think it is a solid? Yes, because it has its own shape and size. Next, let's take a look at the children in the middle. The children, are they a solid, a liquid, or a gas? Yes, they are a solid because they have their own shape and take up space and are varying in size. What about the air in the balloon? The air in the balloon a solid, a liquid, or a gas? The air in the balloon is not a solid because it flows freely and it's given shape by its container. Okay, the orange juice in the cup. The cup is a solid, but what is in the cup is not a solid. Class, what makes the object in the cup not a solid? Yes, because it is flowing freely and is given shape by the container. This in the cup is orange juice, which is a liquid. Now there is a teacher in the corner. Is the teacher a solid, a liquid, or a gas? Yes, she is a solid because she has her own shape and takes up space. Next, you see that the raindrops are in the middle. Are the raindrops a solid, a liquid, or a gas? Correct, they are a liquid and they are flowing freely, which makes them not a is the puppy. Yes, the puppy is a solid because it takes its own shape and has its own size and texture. bottle in the left corner, is this a solid, a liquid, or a gas? What is in the wine bottle is a liquid. We know this is a liquid because if we looked inside, we would see it was flowing freely and takes the shape of the bottle. The next item is a chair. Is the chair a solid, a liquid, or a gas, children? The chair is not a liquid because it isn't flowing freely and it has its own shape. What about the water in the water bottle? Is that a solid, a liquid, or a gas? Yes, it is a liquid because it is flowing freely and doesn't have its own shape. The apple, on the other hand, is a solid because it has its own shape and isn't flowing freely. The test tubes have a substance in them, which are, yes, liquid, because they are flowing freely and take the shape of the container. Looking at the orange juice, we can see that the juice in the cup is taking the shape of the cup, therefore it is a liquid. The kitty in the middle is not taking the shape of anything, but has its own shape. So therefore the kitty is a solid. Lastly, in the paint jar is paint. The paint is taking on the shape of the jar. Therefore, the paint is a liquid. Lastly, we will take a look at the characteristics of gases. The first we're going to look at is the sun in the top left corner. So does the sun look like a solid, liquid, or gas to you? Some of you may be stumped on this, but the sun is actually made of gas. Next, we'll look at the pig. Is the pig a solid, a liquid, or a gas? The pig is a solid, yes, because it has its own shape, size, and texture. What about the air in the balloon? The air in the balloon is a gas because without the balloon, it would be flowing freely and invisible to us. Because of the air in the balloon can float. Next, we'll look at the world. Did you know that the world is made up of many different gases? So in this case, the world, looking at the world from this view, is made up of gases. Next, we will look at the credit card in the bottom. So does the credit card look like a solid, liquid, or gas to you? It is a solid because it has its own shape and takes its own size. And then the hat in the middle, is that a solid, a liquid, or a gas? Yep, it's not a gas, it's a solid. And lastly, the gases that are being emitted from the factory. This is solid, or gas, or liquid. Good job, gas. Finally, we would do an activity to manipulate the items and manipulate several different items and determine their state of matter. The students will be presented with a square bowl, a circle bowl, and a glass. They will manipulate these items to determine their state of matter. Students, what group of matter do these objects belong to? Correct. These items are solids. These items are solids because they have their own shape. Next, we will pour water into the glass and have the students transfer the water to and from the bowls. Students will examine how the water takes on the shape of its container it is poured into. What group of matter is water classified as? Yes, the water is a liquid. Notice how the water flows freely and takes on the shape of its container. Finally, we have a balloon. Next, we will blow up our balloons. The balloon inflates at the last state of matter, which is known as what, children? Yes, the balloon now has gas in it. As you can see, the gas in the balloon takes on the shape of its container. If we popped the balloon, it would deflate and the gas would escape. Finally, for assessment evidence, the students will be assessed through the guided practice and activity for their formative assessment. The teachers should be able to determine if the students have a grasp on the concept by the answers to the teacher's prompting. And finally, for the summative assessment, the students will be instructed to go home and search their house for 5 items on each state of matter. They will make a list and bring it back to school so the teachers can check to see if learning occurred.